Hello, everybody. Welcome to Makeup and a Message. If this is your first time, I'm so excited that you're here. And if you are joining me again, thank you so much for coming back for another Makeup and a Message. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Lisa Compton. I've been a makeup artist and esthetician for almost 20 years, and I truly find so much passion and purpose in serving others and helping them discover that beauty from within, the authentic beauty, and teaching them how to enhance those features, as well as helping people look and feel more beautiful from the inside out. And as I've developed that passion more and more throughout these 20 years, I also have a greater love than that, which is Jesus. And I have now figured out a way to bring both of those things together, to be able to share a message with others, to share stories of struggles, of trials, of tough times, to hopefully be relatable and to inspire others. But more than that, I'm someone that didn't grow up in the Bible. I actually never even opened a Bible until about 6 years ago. And I didn't understand, one, why to read it. And I had no desire to be completely honest. And there was a time in my life where I was struggling so bad with my marriage and just falling apart at the seams in every way, shape, and form. And I decided to pick up a Bible. And I remember that was the day that truly changed my life. And for me, I heard, and I know other people have heard, like, the Bible is the living word and it can transform you from the inside out. But what does that really mean, right? If we don't really see it or have a picture painted for us, we really don't have a clue what that means. And so I'm here to share with you how to apply verses into your life, how these verses have truly gotten me through the hardest times of my life, have created the most breakthrough in my life, the most freedom in my life, that have helped me through storms, that have helped me through times of joy, that have helped me stay grounded. The word is truly my rock. And so my hope for you today is to see how words in this book are not just words, they're not just stories. They're truly transformative tools and resources that can change your life in such a radical way that sometimes if it didn't happen to me, I wouldn't believe it. And as I've shared before on these Makeup and Messages, I was not someone that I was raised in religion, but not in a relationship. And really having a relationship with Jesus has completely changed the way that I see religion. And yet religion is so different than relationship. But the thing is being in the word is what really continues to fuel me, continues to equip me, and helps me encourage and inspire others to do the same. So today is a verse that, and I need to start with this today. I almost didn't do this one. It has taken me weeks to get the courage to come on here and do this. And I almost didn't do it tonight. And the reason why is because this one is one that I ran from my past for so long. And this is a verse. This is the very first verse that changed my life. This is a verse that literally changed my mindset, and never did I see through the same lens after reading this verse. And I was so nervous to come on here, but that's the indicator for me that I know that this is not for me. This is for somebody else. That I know that someone else needs to hear this today. And I pray that if it's you, that this blesses your heart and that you truly see how things happen for a reason, and they happen to you. They happen for you, not to you. And so let's get started. The verse today is Romans 8:28, and it is my life verse. Sometimes you'll hear people say, oh, this is my life verse. This is a verse that got me through this season. This is a verse that got me through this storm. This is my life verse. And it's so interesting to me because as a kid, I always said, everything happens for a reason. I've always said that. I've always believed that everything happens for a reason. And so when I heard this verse, it just connected the dots in a different way, and it fueled my faith and belief in a completely different way, that it allowed me to see everything that happened, that it happened for me, to go through it, to become stronger, to become braver, to have the courage to share it because others are struggling with it too. And it really became the verse that gave me my purpose. So let's dig in. Romans 8:28. And we know that for those who love God, all things work together for good, for those who are called according to his purpose. And when I heard that at first, I was like, what does that really mean? Okay. And then I kind of broke it down, and it says, and we know that for all those who love God, all things work together for good. So if I love God and things that have happened to me, they're going to be for my good. They're all being used. The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it is being used for his good, for our good and for his glory. And for me, let me take you back to a place that it's kind of difficult to go to, but I know I'm supposed to. So for me, I ran from my past for as long as I could. And I got to a place where I just got so exhausted trying to run from it. And my past was something that I was embarrassed of. I was diagnosed with depression and bipolar during my high school years. And I will never forget, a guy in high school literally said to me, there's not enough medication in this world to not make you crazy. And it's those moments that you have someone say something to you that just rocks you to your core, and you just take it in, and it it becomes your truth, right? And that led to the diagnosis of bipolar and depression, and then led to, me being on all this medication, and then still not feeling good, and led to a place of almost taking my life at one point, to addictions of eating disorders, to drugs, to alcohol, anything I could do to run from it. I was so embarrassed of this diagnosis. I was so embarrassed that I was considered crazy. And so I tried to avoid, I tried to run, I tried to fit in, I tried to do whatever I could to not admit that this was my reality. And, the thing is with that is when you're running and you're avoiding, that's one thing. Second thing is I had no relationship with Jesus or anyone that was a believer that could mentor me, that could help me through it, that could guide me to him or guide me to the word. So I was going to the world's perspective, and I was just trying to control things, and I was trying to handle things the best way I knew how to cope with things. Not healthy. Not healthy. And so as I continued on this journey of, bipolar, bulimia, drugs, alcohol, all these things, I barely graduated from high school. And then I kind of was like, okay, I made it, but I didn't do anything. I didn't change anything. I kept going down this really dark path. And let me tell you, broken attracts broken. And so what ended up happening is I meet my husband, and at the time, again, broken attracts broken. So there were addictions, there were so many things that we were both battling with, a lot of demons that we were both battling with. And we were both we're all broken, but we were really broken. And we dated for a few years, and it was on and off, and it was not a healthy relationship in any way, very codependent. I felt like, okay, if I could just prove to people that I'm normal, that I am normal enough to get married, that I'm normal enough to be loved, that I'm normal enough to have a normal life, if I could just prove to people. And knowing that at the time it was not the right time to get into a marriage or to fully commit, I went against everything I believed, because I needed to prove to myself and to others that I wasn't crazy. And then I got married, and I can tell you how it went within a year and a half. We were so riddled with addictions, codependencies, disrespect, and I asked my husband for his blessing to be able to share part of our story because our story is my story. And so it was really, really ugly. And it got to a point where it got so bad that I just knew that it didn't matter anymore. People wanted to call me crazy. If people wanted to say, look, she can't be loved, or look, she's whatever, I didn't care anymore. And I ended up filing for divorce 1.5 years into our marriage. And it was a really hard time, but I knew I was going to be okay. I just knew I was going to be okay. I can't explain it. I just had this peace that surpassed all understanding. And at that time, I had no relationship really with God, or, God at this point at all still. Well, I take that back. I did have a relationship with him, but it was like the convenience store. Like when things were really good, he did not have a space in my life. And when things were really bad, I was desperate and on my knees begging for him to help change things. But I didn't have a relationship. I didn't know him. I didn't know his character. I didn't know his love. I didn't know his grace. I didn't know his mercy. I just knew that he could perform miracles. And if I needed him to, I'd pray and hopefully get my way, just being completely honest. And so after I left, after I filed, my husband ended up fighting for me and, making some of the changes that I was asking of him. And it was good. But it didn't change because cycles continue to repeat themselves. So it may look like things are good, and then all of a sudden something would happen again. And his addiction was getting the best of him. And he was choosing that over me. And it just continued to get worse and worse. And so his addictions were fueling my addictions. And then I was trying to avoid and, run from the things that I needed to run from. And it just was a real big mess again. And so we ended up, and what not better to do than to have kids, right? Because let's just bring the kids into this mess too, because that's the next thing you do once you get married. You have kids. And so that's what I thought that's what we needed to do. We need to have kids. So, we ended up having 2 girls, and things were still not good. And I finally realized that as a mom of daughters, that I had to show them that they had to have self-respect for themselves, and they had to see what they deserve to be treated like. And I stuck up for myself by leaving for the second time. And this is when I realized that things were happening in a different way. I was seeing things differently. I knew that we were going to be okay and work things out, but I had to go through this storm. We had to go through this storm to see how far we had come, to be grateful for what we've gone through. Like, I just knew we had to go through this. And so if you're going through something that's really hard right now and you don't understand why, and you feel like God is not listening to your prayers or he's not hearing you, just know that he's always with you. Know that he's always, always with you. And he sometimes works behind the scenes. And hold on to that faith, because that's what I was holding on to. And in the midst of all this pain, in the midst of all this uncertainty of now leaving my husband for the second time with my children at this point, I went to a Bible study, and I started reading the Bible. And this is one of the verses that just stuck out to me. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's all being used. Like, it's all being used for my good. Like, he's using this right now. And once I started to believe that and realize that, I was able to shift my perspective to a place of, instead of why is this happening to me? God, what are you trying to show me right now? What are you trying to teach me right now? And as I shifted that mindset from a victim mentality to a victorious mentality of what are you trying to show me, and being willing to see that, I was able to see things happening for me rather than to me. So I was experiencing them from a place of, okay, this is an opportunity of growth. This is an opportunity strengthening my character, of becoming stronger, and it completely shifted the way that I saw situations happen to me. And I started to realize the freedom that I had in my past because I worked so hard and I was striving to prove that I wasn't crazy. I was striving to prove that I was worthy of being loved, that I was worthy of being considered normal, that I realized that those things happened to me for me to become stronger, for me to share this story with you, to show you where I've gone, to show you how far I've come, to show you that I was in the valley and I worked through it. And there's some days that I still go into the valley, and there's still days that I struggle. Like, I don't ever want people to think like, oh, you make it through this and then you're done. Like, it's done. Like, you're never done until you reach heaven. So even though you may elevate, you may work through something, there's always something else going to be thrown at you, right? But you take these things that you've gone through, one, to see how faithful God has been through those things, and times where I didn't think I was going to make it through. I'm standing here today telling you I did. And I stand on his faithfulness for when I go into the next storm or into the next situation that I don't know what to expect, or a painful situation or whatever it is, that I stand on his faithfulness, that he got me through then, he'll get me through it again, right? And two, realizing that my past became my purpose. My past of pain and shame and embarrassment, of being crazy, of having a diagnosis of bipolar, of having bulimia and struggling with all these addictions, those things happened for me to share with you so that you have hope that it's possible for you too. And so my past became the greatest gift to me, to be able to go back to that place, embrace it, and also then be able to share it with others, to bring people closer to understanding that this is possible for you too, and understanding that this didn't happen overnight, that I wasn't chosen for this to happen to, that this is something that this is a gift from God. Like, this is something that I can't earn. This is something that I can't do to earn this this membership as a family and have this eternal life in heaven. Like, this is just a free gift that's offered to every single one of us. And when I started to understand that, and when I started to really understand God's character and his love and his grace, and not just this miracle worker, or this dictator or this ruler, I started to really want to know more. And so when you're taking, when you're in the Word, all of a sudden, when you start to read these stories, you start to see that it's just not a story, that these characters remind you of someone. And normally they remind you of you. And you start to see how relatable these stories are to you, because these people are all human. These were all people that went through these things. And you start to then see how they reacted to things, how they did things, how they were fearful, how they, were scared, but they stepped out in courage and did the things. And you start to be inspired by these stories, and you start to then do these things, and you start to see the transformation and the ripple effect that other people are inspired by that, and they step out in their courage. And it's just so incredible. And so anyways, today I hope that this message truly blessed you, because this is a verse that when you can really understand, to go from a place of, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? To a place of, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? You come from a whole new perspective and a whole different mindset. And things no longer have that hold of you being a victim anymore. And you have a place of just trusting that process and just seeking his peace to get you through it. And there were many, many times where I didn't know how I was going to make it through. And there are still many times where I'm like, okay, I don't know how I'm going to make it through, or how are we going to get through this one? But standing on his faithfulness has really helped me. So if you're in a place of, again, a struggle, running from your past, feeling like people can never find out the true you because they would never accept you. They would never love you for who you are. I have news for you. One, you already are loved and accepted by your Creator. And two, those things that we run from are the things that can really bring us the greatest freedom. And so just remember that He uses all things, the good parts of us, the bad parts of us, the ugly parts of us, the beautiful parts of us. He uses all things for our good and His glory. And so anyways, I again just hope that that verse has reached you in some way. And I have to share with you, because this is the greatest part, that now my husband and I lead Bible studies, and my husband is very involved in the church, and we have taken our story of our struggle, of our trials, and when most people did not think we would ever make it. Most people doubted it. Most people had no idea how we were going to make this work, but God knew. And He's taken our story and our struggles to make our marriage stronger than ever. But not only that, but to share with people what happens when you bring Jesus into your marriage, what happens when you bring Jesus into your life, and how when you invite Him into that space, your life is transformed. And so God has taken all these things that have happened for me to share with others, to bring others closer to Him. And so now, like I said, we will be celebrating 15 years of marriage in October. And since then, we've brought another child into the world. So we have 3 children now. And, you know, yes, we still struggle. Yes, we still don't see eye to eye sometimes. But again, when things get rough, I go back to asking God, what are you trying to teach me? What are you trying to show me right now that I need to change in me? And it's just been a learning process, and I continue to grow. But it truly, this verse has blessed my life and allowed me to share and bless others with this verse. And I'm just so, so grateful for God's word. And it always says in His word that His word does not return void. So even though I was nervous to do this tonight, I just know, and I'm standing in faith that that someone, the right person, will hear this. And if not, and for some reason, if not, I'm not doing this for others anymore. I'm not doing this for others just to hear the story. I'm doing this because I truly love Jesus, and I want others to know how great He is. And so I do this because I love Him and I choose to serve Him. So anyways, on to the makeup. And it's always so funny because it's like, okay, we went really deep to let's talk makeup. But I love that God has shown me this vision of how to bring a message and then bring that message into makeup and kind of correlate that. So today we're going to talk about, again, seeing things from a different perspective. And sometimes when you see a lipstick, you think that it's just for your lips. But when you're using professional products that are highly pigmented, that don't have a lot of fillers in them, it's just pigment. It's just color. So where would you put color? Well, you'd put color on your eyelids, you'd put color on your cheeks, and you'd put color on your lips. So why not use one product for all three areas? And so again, it's about seeing things in a different way and being open to just realizing that sometimes what things look like aren't really what they are. And so anyways, this is the birthday cake. I love this color. This is a stain. So it's a long wearing formula. It's waterproof, humidity resistant. So I love using this as an eye color. So you can actually use it as a base if you want to do, and then throw other shadows on. But I'm just going to show you a really simple look. And I'm just going to kind of dot that on right now. Just like so, giving it a little bit of color, voila. And then we're gonna go on to the other side. And again, And just dab that on a little bit. So that is our eyeshadow right there. It's a beautiful color. And then we're gonna go on and do the cheeks. And I'm just gonna grab a buffer brush for this. I sometimes use a sponge. You can use your fingers if you want. I'm just gonna go ahead and use a brush, but you're just gonna kind of dot, dot, dot right on the apples of your cheek. I've already thrown a little bit of bronzer on. And then you're just gonna blend that on just to get a little bit of a blush color. And again, dot, 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 right on the apples. And then take your brush kind of going at a downward angle. And I love how soft this color is. And then I've already done everything else other than mascara. I'm just gonna throw a little bit on my lips and then throw on a liner. But this is a really soft nude color. And you could leave it just like that. You could throw a gloss on over it. I'm just gonna take a little bit of, that's dark nude, a little bit of a liner just to define my lips. And voila. So as I just throw on my mascara really quick, I just thank you so much for, one second, for being here with me today. And if this has blessed you, I thank you for joining, and please subscribe to this channel. I plan on doing more makeup and messages, and also please feel free to invite your friends to join if you feel like this message could help them, or if they love makeup or whatever it is. But I just thank you for your continued support. And yeah, so I'm just gonna throw on a little bit of mascara really quick, and our look is complete. So you saw how quickly, using one product for eyes, cheeks, and lips, how quick that is. And you don't have to worry about it smudging, budging. It's going nowhere. Just throw a little bit of mascara on to define the lashes. And voila. So remember, 1, things may look a certain way, but they're completely a different way, and they can be seen from different perspectives. And if you can shift that perspective from why to what, it will be huge. But not so much just using that as a tool, but remembering why you're using that as a tool. Because it says in God's word, he uses all things for our good and for his glory. And so when you can remember that, I promise you, when you're going through the next storm, or if you're going through this storm right now, this message could absolutely change your life. So I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful evening, morning, wherever this finds you. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you again soon. Thanks again for joining. Bye, everybody.